The function template is a generic function, okay, that can work with any data type. You see, mostly when we are defining a function, we are specifying data types, but this one is a generic function which works with different data types. The programmer writes the specification of the function, but substitutes, meaning to say leaves, skips the parameters data type, meaning to say we are writing a function where we don't specify the parameter type. Okay, so what will happen when the compiler encounters a call to the function? Okay, then compiler will generate the code to handle the data types. So compiler will automatically generate a code for that type of function and will handle different types. So what does it mean? Okay, it means that, you see, if we have a function int square, this is a function, its return type is integer. It takes one integer argument and then calculates its square number time number and return. So the integer multiplication data type is again integer, so return type is integer. So you see, this function can calculate square of integer value. If we want double another function to calculate square of double number, then we need to define like this, and float again, and other data type again, other data type again. So let's suppose if we have 6 or 7 different data types and we want square of that, so it means that we need to define 7 different functions, which is quite tedious actually. Okay, and time consuming, we need to type so much code. So the solution for this is that let's define a generic function, one generic function, and that function will handle integer also, that function will handle double also, float also. Okay, and short, long, all these data types will be handled automatically. So that generic data type which can handle different data types, sorry, that generic function which can handle different data types is called function template. Okay, so how to define a function template? The general way is like this, that you will, this word is compulsory, you will use the word template, and in the angle brackets you will use class and some uh, variable, maybe t. Mostly we are using t because the t represents the template. Okay, but t is not compulsory, you can give any name, but the structure will be like this. You see, must use this template, angle bracket, class, and then a, a generic argument. This t actually represents the generic argument type. Okay, no semicolon after that, and after that the class definition, the template definition. The template definition is exactly like a function. You see, the template name is square, it returns something, but it is not specified now. It needs an argument, but it is not specified now, and the same type of numbers are multiplied and returned. So what will happen? It will happen like this, that if we call this function, okay, the function name is square. If we call this one like square 4, okay, so compiler know that the 4 is integer, then all the t's, all the t here, the t here, the t here, all the t's will be automatically converted by compiler to integer. So meaning to say, compiler will automatically generate one function for you, and all the generic data types will be changed according to the value that we call. Okay. So you see, if it is like this, if we call the function with this value, you see int x and int y and x equal to 4. So you see the x is integer and its value is 4. So if we call the function x, the function square with x, you see this square is actually not a function, it is a template. So what compiler will do, from this template, compiler will generate another code, and that code will be not stored permanently. And if it is not stored permanently, it will not occupy any memory also. So it will just generate in a memory, in a RAM, according to this template. A function will be generated, and all the generic data types will be replaced by the type of this value that we are calling with. Okay, so it will become like this. The compiler will generate a code like this. You see, integer, square, integer, and the rest of coding is like this. Okay, and the same square, the same template, you see template is 1. The same template, if we call with this value, that here the f is a double value, and we call the same square with double, so compiler will generate this double, square, double. So you see all the t's are replaced by double. So this is a generic function which can handle different data types. This is the example of this. Okay, let me show you this example. uh, let me close these different examples now. So it is what 16.7. So 16.7 is this class. Okay, you see template, the word template, angle bracket, the angle bracket, the word control Z. Okay, the word template, in angle bracket the word class. So the word template and the word class are reserved word, you will must use it. This word you can change if you want, the T, but mostly the standard usage is T. Why? Because it show like a template. Okay, then return type T, template name square, return data type of the argument, and the coding is there. And you see now in int main we have integer value and double value, and one time we are calling this function with integer value, and one time we are calling the same function with double value. Okay, so function is one, which is a template is one, but we are calling with two different values. So the benefit of template is this, that you see we define just one time, but we can call with different values. If you don't define template and you are using normal function procedure, normal functions to handle these two call, you will have to define two functions, one for integer arguments and one for double arguments. Otherwise you cannot call with double value if it is only has integer. So the conclusion is that, okay, let me run first. You see enter an integer and float value. Integer is, let's suppose, 4, and float value I will 4.5. Okay, so you see the square of integer is 16 and the square of 4.5 is 20.25. Okay, so one template handle different values, so it's a very nice, easy, and quick way to handle different data types using one template. So let's come to next concept. You see all the parameters defined in the function template must appear at least once in the function parameter. Yeah, it means that the T that we represent, it must be there in the function template definition. Like you see the T, if you define T here, then T must be here, T must be here. If you define this, let's suppose if you replace this with, let's suppose, A. Oh sorry, I thought it is editable. Okay, if you define this with A, okay, then and later on you use here T, it cannot work. You see, if I save it and if I run it, you see it cannot work. The error is T doesn't name a type. You see, so meaning to say the type we named with A, but the T doesn't show anything. So if you want to change this with A, then you see you can change with A. So the point is that what type you define in the template, that must be used in the function also. So if you see now, if I save it and run it, then it can work. Yeah, you see it can run now. So that value that you define, the data type, actually this keyword represent the data type. Okay, generic data type. So that generic data type we define here and use in the function. Okay, it works like this. You see we already knew that this is the generic template. So if we call with integer value, compiler will automatically generate one version of this as an integer, and next time if we call with double value, compiler will generate a second version of the same template in memory, second version, and we can handle both like this. Okay, so the function template is merely a specification of a function, and by itself doesn't cause memory to be used. Meaning to say it will be not saved actually. You see this version that the compiler generate, it will be just at runtime only. It will be not saved for you. Next time when you run, it will be regenerate again. So it doesn't store memory, it doesn't occupy any memory. So in this way, you see, it is a saving of memory also. That if you really write this two functions, both will use memory, but instead of these two, if you write one time, so the less memory is used as compared to the two. Okay, template therefore should be placed near the top of a program in the header file. Yeah, so template will always be used at the top. You see, this is int main, so before int main at the top of the program, you will have to use it. Okay, now this one. As with the regular functions, the compiler must already know the template's content when it encounters a call to the function template, the function. Template therefore should be placed near at the top. Okay, this done. What it says, the program 6.18 shows another example of function template. The function swap two values, okay, and two references to the type t parameter. Yeah, let's see this one. You see what happened here. Template class t. Now this one doesn't have any return type, so you didn't use any t here, but it needs two argument, okay, but both arguments are references. So whatever is it, if it is a reference, if it is a pointer, it is a value, whatever is it, but the type is the same, t and the t. Okay, now you see you can even create a new variable of this type. You see t temp, it means like we are typing int temp, okay, if you call with integer variable. And then the swapping value temp is this. I hope you already know the swapping of this, so it just changes the value with each other. Otherwise, if you want to see, we can see the coding here. You see template class t, one argument with t, another argument with t, and to swap means that you have two values. Now you want the two variables to swap the value with each other, okay. Then for that purpose we need a third variable. It is exactly like this. If you want to understand the concept of swapping, let's suppose if you have two glasses or two cups, one cup has tea and another cup has, let's suppose, a juice, okay. And okay, let's suppose this cup, I am not good in drawing, okay, another cup has a juice, okay. So if you want to swap, these values should go there and the other go here. So how can you cannot do without a third empty one. Otherwise, if you pour this one here, it will be mixed. If you pour this one, it will be mixed. So cannot. You will lose the one value in case of variable. So we need a third empty one. Okay, what we'll do, anyone, let's suppose first put this one here. Now this one is empty now, and then put this one there. Okay, now this one is empty and put this one there. So this is the way of swapping variables. So this is why we need a third variable. So in the temp, put the first one, and then put the, now the first one is empty, and put in the first one the second one, and now bring the to the second one the temp. So this is just a swapping function. Now you see you can call the same swapping template with character, with integer, with double. So three different types. You see swap character, swap integers, and swap double. So template is one, and we can swap three different type of values. Again, if you don't use template and you use functions, you will must type three different functions to do this functionality. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Or should I run it? Let's run it. Okay, let's save it. Visual Studio has a problem. Okay, enter two characters. I'm entering one A and another one Z. Okay, and again enter. You see, it is already swapped. Z first, A. You can actually change the messages to clearly show that yes, A is changed to this. Okay, two integers. First one is, let's suppose, 10. The other one is, let's suppose, 60. So you see 60 and 10 swap. Float 12.9 and another value 30 point something 6. So you see there. So different values we can call one function. It's a nice thing. It's really nice. I really like it. Okay, so like this. Okay, using operators with multiple type. Using operators in function template. It means that you see we are using until now multiplication, assignment. Okay, so all these operators are actually built-in data types. Okay, like built-in data types like integer, float, character. So compiler already know how to deal with this, no need. Otherwise, if you want to use such operator, such variables like object, like for example addition of two object, then compiler don't know how to add two objects, then you must provide the overloaded function in that coding also. Otherwise compiler cannot handle. Meaning to say, in overloaded operators you will have to provide overloaded functions, otherwise cannot. And function with multiple types, you see, uh, until now we were talking about only one t. Okay, if you want to use more than one data type, you can use that one also. For example, you see in this case a template class, you see t1 is one data type, let's suppose integer, comma the next one class t2. So this will be different data type from t1. It may be double, it may be character, but different from the t1. So you see the same one is used here, mm, t1 and t2. And you see here we didn't use any t. Why? Because we already know that the size of function will always return numeric value and integer value. Okay, so this is why no need to specify. So if you, even if you pass character and double also, the size of function return integer. Okay, so it's so you see one time integer, one time character, one time float, one time double, and call the same function many times. You see its name is what? Largest. The name is largest. So you see largest with I and C, which is integer and I and D, integer and double. Okay, and second type with C and F, which are character and float. So we can use, the conclusion is we can use diff two data types also. If you want third one, then use after the t2 comma class t3, fourth one comma class t4, and so on, as many types as you want, but you properly manage. I think I should not run this one, you already know. Okay, overloading with function template. I hope you still remember what is function overloading. If you don't remember now, you simply try to recall the constructor overloading. So function overloading is what? Function overloading is simply a function with the same name but with different argument. For example, if we have one function int, oh sorry, let's clear this. If we have a function int sum, note the point, the name is sum, but here is int, the arguments, one is int, let's suppose simple, no, should not be simple because it is sum. Oh my god, I need to write again. Okay, so int sum and int, it takes two arguments, one integer and another one integer. So let's suppose one function is this, another function, you see the name will be different. Let's suppose int, okay, the same name sum, but this one is float. Okay, comma float. So this is called function overloading, that same function but different arguments. This is called function overloading. So if function overloading is possible, then template overloading is also possible. So meaning to say, we can use same template name, but the t's inside that, the data types inside that will be different. Okay, this is called template overloading. Okay, and simply you see here, I think the same example, same type example is given. You see sum, but this one is t1 t. Okay, just one t is used, t meaning to say return type is also integer, integer. Okay, you see the same t, the same template name sum and sum, but here you see here was two argument, here are three argument. You can even use a third one with four arguments. You can use a fourth one with one argument, let's suppose. So this is called template overloading. Okay, so one template you can use with different parameters. You see here it is called with 2 parameter, here it is called with 3 parameter. Compiler can understand and compiler can decide which template to call and which code should be generated. Compiler can understand this one. So I will skip this one also. Let's go ahead. Okay, so next topic is where to start and when defining the template. Meaning to say, if you ask from yourself, okay, when I should use template and when I should use function. Okay, so the answer for this is that most of the time, the easy way, the software engineering rule is that convert existing functions to template. Why? Because the reason is that if you have functions already, then the function coding and structure is already clear and it is error free, debugged already. Then you see, let's suppose if you have already a function like this, then just convert this to template. How? Change every data type to one t, like integer t, another, okay, just t, okay, and t. So just change this one. So the answer for this question, that when we should define template and where we should define it, the answer is that when you have several functions already and many functions are there, it makes the project longer, difficult to read, difficult to understand and handle. So then convert the many functions to template. So it will reduce the size of the program. Okay, after that is class template. Class template means that if template is passable for built-in data types, then template is passable for class type also. Okay, so template may also be used to create generic class, okay, and abstract data types. Okay, the class will be generic. In the class, you see, when we are defining a class, inside the class we are using different types, like private, int, length, int, width. So you see, the int are what? These are data types. So we can use all the values inside the class generic. So when we use all the data types in a class generic, then the class changes to generic class, and we will call that a class template. So class template allow you to create a general version of a class, okay, without having duplicate the coding. So meaning to say, you see, one time the function, there is a rectangle class which can handle all the values for rectangle width and length as integer. So if you once you define integer, you cannot pass double value. If you want to pass double value, you need to define another class, one for integer, one class for integer, another class for double. And if you want a third category, then you need to define a third class for that. So exactly like a functions, if you want to compact all these three different versions into a generic one, then use convert all the data types to templates. Use just T. Okay, look at this one. You see here, you see template class T, meaning to say we are using only one data type inside this whole class. Okay, the class name is simple vector. You see T, its pointer. Okay, wherever we need and data type, okay, this data type, we will use that one as a T. Wherever there is integer, so it means we are not referring to the T, this is already known. Okay, so wherever there is a data type, you will see that one T. You see, return T, return T. Okay, now even in the implementation, you see T. What is this? You see the constructors are defined outside. So T again, this function is used here, try catch block. Okay, yeah, again T for overloaded constructor. T, meaning to say we are creating dynamically integer array. Okay, then T for destructor. You see here are destructors. Okay, now even in the int main, if you go there, you see, meaning to say, you see, in the class, wherever as many functions are there in the class, every T represent one data type. Okay, you see, this is another class which is the get element at function. Okay, another function, you see, operator. This is operator overloaded. Overloading operator is already provided. Okay, so it is this. Now in the function, okay, Another point, once we define a template of a class, then second step will be to create objects of that class. So how to create objects of that class? You see, the class name and what t was used, that the t should be replaced by what? You see, the t should be replaced by integer. That one, this is the difference. Previously we were just using class name and object name. Now we want something value for the t. So this angle bracket value will go to replace each t in the class. So meaning to say, now we can create object with integer value. And you see the same class, generic class, but here every t in the class will be replaced by double value, and now we can create an object with a double value. So this is the benefit. It's so nice. It's so easy. Actually, one generic template can be used for integer also and for double also. If you don't use the generic template for class, you will have to define two classes then. And this one show the program. You see that one is included here. Okay, and now the actual implementation, you see, when we create the object of the template of the class, we use the angle bracket. Okay, another one double, you see, and the rest of calculation is the same. Yeah, if you want me to run this program, I have the coding. Yeah, I think it's a new concept. Let's run. This is a program 16.11, and this is where 16.11. Let's quickly check. This is simple vector dot t. 16.11 simple vector. Oh, it is here. Yeah, it is. It is already here. Simple vector dot h and 16.11. So I hope we can run. You see, simple vector dot h. In this simple vector dot h, the generic class has been defined. You see here, class template class t. This capital T means one data type we are using in the whole class. So class name, and then you see the t, and these are different things. Okay, mean this int is not related to that t. If it is related to that t, then you will have to check this integer also by t. What does it mean? It means like this, that if you want the pointer as integer and the array also integer, then but this is, you see, array size. So array size will always be integer. It should not be float or character or double. So if we make this mistake to change to t, so it means automatically the array size value will be also changed, and we know that array size must be a whole number. Okay, this is why we didn't use t here. Okay, the same way constructor, overloaded constructor. Okay, another overloaded constructor. These constructors are defined outside the class later on. Destructor, okay, size function, get element, but it returns t. Okay, this operator, it returns t. So all these functions are defined outside the class. So when you are defining outside the class, you see we are not only using the class name, but we are using the same template class t keywords also again. So class name, the t again, and the scope resolution operator you need to use again. Previously we were not using this word when we were defining function outside the class, okay, without template. So not using this word and not using this angle bracket t. We were simply using class name, scope resolution operator, and function name. But now it is a template. So again the template and the t, and the rest of definition of a function is the same. Okay, so this coding, what does this mean? Actually, it automatically create one array. Its size, you see, the s is the size of the array. Automatically create an array, and you see it implemented the bed allocation exception also, that if this new word couldn't work, then exception will be created, and that is called bed allocation exception, and the cache will automatically catch that. And here it just return the location of different values. Okay, another function defined outside the class, another function defined outside the class. I am just going through quickly. Okay, another function defined outside the class. Just the procedure is, you see, the template we are repeating, the t we are repeating everywhere. Okay, another function defined outside the class, and another function defined outside the class. So this is the template defined in this file. Its implementation is here. You see this template is included here. Now the size is 10. int count, you see the how to create object, the class name, but the t should be replaced by what? This thing is new. Okay, every t should in the class should be replaced by integer. It means we are passing object with integer values. Next time every t will be replaced by double, we are passing object with double values. Okay, with double value. So you see, one time the array is of double values, another time the array is of integer values. Okay, now you see here, just apply calculation on the array using for loop and then display its locations. Okay, just go ahead, it's a normal calculation applied on the array, all these things. Yeah, let me run it. You see, here is no need to go through all the coding, you can easily understand. I hope should not be a problem. You see that the output of this program is, there are these values are in int table, means integer table. So the values were created automatically like this, and these values are in the double table. You see the same double value. Okay, adding 5 to each element of the int and double array. So 5 plus 0, 5, 5 plus 2, you see 7, and incrementing each element of the array by 1. So 5 change to 6, 7 change to 8, and so on. So this is the way how to create a template, class template. So function template and class template. I hope should not be a problem. So next concept in a class, if you remember, once we have a class, then we may have the possibility to inherit one class from another class. Okay, so we can inherit also. So yes, we can inherit. So if we can inherit, so the same question apply on template also. So actually we can inherit template also. You see, classes, template, and inheritance. So you see this another template class definition. You see, define template T, searchable vector. This is the new class, the child class, and basically it is a template class, the child template class. We are inheriting. You see the same inheritance character operator from the publicly inherit from simple vector, and simple vector is the same example that we just run now, and that was a class template, and you see that one also has the T. So the class normally, like in general classes, we can do inheritance. So in the same way, we can do inheritance in class template also. So you see constructor, exactly it calling parent constructor. So you see this one, the T. So here T we must to show in the parent constructor, but here no need. Okay. Again, yeah, overloaded constructor is the same. A function in the child class, the constructors are defined outside the classes. You see, when you define like a function defined outside the class, constructor defined outside the class. So template, then the class name, the T, the scope resolution operator, and the searchable vector. Okay, because this is a constructor, this is why the searchable vector is used two times, one for the class, second for the constructor. The same for this one. This is a function defined outside the class name, the T, and the find item function. Okay, so this is exactly, so the inheritance is also the same like in normal class here. The difference is like this, that when we are inheriting, so the first one no need to mention the T, the second one the parent class, with the parent class we will must mention here. So this is example of this. You see here we are creating object of this. So this one, the all the T's in the searchable class template will be replaced by integer. Okay, and here in the searchable vectors, again second time, all the T's will be replaced by double. So you see this int and double will actually pass as arguments to parent classes when they are calling the constructor. Okay, so it works in the same way. I think I should not go through this coding. Okay. Okay, the last topic in this one is a specialized template. You see, until now we were using generic template, right? Generic template. So generic template means that template is one, we can send integer value, we can send float value, we can send character value. It is generic. Opposite of this is specialized version. If you want to make a specialized template, meaning to say it will only work on a specialized data, you see, specialized data, then you can do that one also. So you see, like what? Class, simple vector, you see, and here we are not using T. Previously we were using here T. Here now we are using character. So this one is a specialized template.